What's going on, guys? It's my Cass here. We're going to be ranking in tier list format the X-Men film franchise. I'm going to keep it a stack. I like the X-Men movies, the majority of them, a lot way better than most superhero movies. I feel like they're a really good sort of social commentary hidden within a huge spectacle action franchise. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about, like, it's all really a study on civil rights. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about, really. It's about, like, in a way, in most of it. Not like the Deadpool things. Deadpool, he's kind of trying to have fun. You know what I mean? But with, like, Days of Future Past. That's like a really good example of X-Men being a form of social commentary. About with the X-Men being a task force group of mutants who are the advanced format of human evolution, and with the main Homo sapien being scared of them, being scared of the powers that they could potentially have, and how, like, some mutants are ashamed of themselves when really they shouldn't. They should probably embrace their powers and whatnot. You know what I mean? And I plan on ranking this in order. Let's go through the rankings, though. It's S, A, B, C, D. I don't know what S stands for. I just kind of looked up X-Men tier list template and brings you to this website. I'm going to go with S. I'm going to do superb, probably. Because, like, that's a cool word. It's a very happy word. But let's get started. I'm going to start with X-Men 1. The one from... When did it come out? 1999, or way back. It was probably one of the first big Marvel superhero movies. I feel like right before this it was like Blade or something like that. Blade was like late 90s, mid 90s kind of. Not late 90s, because like it had the whole techno sound. But I'm gonna probably put this in A. I feel like some of the dialogue's a bit dated and it's kind of slow in towards the middle a little bit, but I really like the dynamic and how, like, a lot of relationships are set up. How, like, Wolverine really likes Jean Grey, and Cyclops they have a whole love triangle thing going on over there. And Rogue is a really interesting character. She's probably my favorite female character in the show. I like her more than Jean Grey. Like, she's so interesting because she's so ashamed of her powers and stuff like that. And the first scene with her, it's almost like I'm watching a horror movie, and like to see her like almost kill someone because she's like, she can't really touch people and stuff. I don't know how she, like, what happened when she was born or something. Like, did her mom die when she was born? I'm pretty sure there's some explanation in the comics, which I gotta read up on. I'm big into comics, but I'm not like big, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got like a Loki poster right there, you know what I'm saying? And I got like a Wolverine #1 over there. But yeah, X-Men, the first one, is really cool, and I really think it's just like a really, like, the speeches about mutants are so well done, and Magneto's lair is so interesting. And Magneto and Professor Xavier have probably one of the most interesting villain hero dynamics, because they can't actually fight each other. I mean, they can, but, like, through other people. So, like, they're not like fighting. They're really mentally fighting each other. It's like an ideology fighting each other. And I heard Stanley describe that it was like Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King Jr. That's the way he wrote that. Which I find wow. The fact that you could, like, create that into something, like, we need more of that. We need, like, more social commentary put into something with a huge spectacle, because, like, there is, like, a giant fight scene on the Statue of Liberty at the end. So, like, if you want something exciting, you have that, and there's, like, train scenes, and there's, like, people, there's, like, saber-toothed, like, people and stuff like that fighting each other and all that. So if you want some cool action, you got that too, but I feel like it's just, like, not as fast-paced as other things, and not as grand as compared to other films here. So yeah, let's go to X2. Dude, this is a tough one. I'm gonna have to put it in the B section. A lot of people would have to disagree with me. I feel like it just has a lot of action, and you do have that whole social commentary type of thing, but a lot of it was really like a bit much and really intense, and I feel like that's what a lot of people like. But I'm like, I don't like boring movies, but I like movies that really take time with the action, stuff like that, and take time to like explain a lot. But like, I just feel like there's a other couple movies that are a bit more personal. Nah, screw that. I'm putting in the S tier. I'm capping right now. I can't say this with a straight face. Nah, this is gonna have to go to the best part, because like the army going into the whole mansion, like the Xavier mansion, and like attacking them, and it's like so scary. And the Nightcrawler opening scene as he tries to kill the president is so crazy. And the end scene with Stryker showing Wolverine's origins but simultaneously setting up the Dark Phoenix storyline is really good. And this brings us to the next one, which people are going to give me a lot of flack for. The Last Stand, I'm putting that in the A category. Heavily underrated. Really loved the whole... this Dark Phoenix story is done so much... So it's done to justice, really. And if it's not like completely accurate to the comics, I don't care. I don't read the comics all the time. I do have the Dark Phoenix graphic novel over there, but I haven't read it yet. To be honest, but I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. The Last Stand is so... the storyline with like Archangel or whatever, the Angel character, is really interesting. Wolverine and Jean Grey's dynamic interesting, and how he feel like the guilt of him having to do something to her because she has so much powers is really shown a lot in other films in the franchise, and I love that as well. And I feel like the first trilogy, this is like the first trilogy out of all of them, really well done. Yeah. X-Men Origins Wolverine. They really butchered Deadpool, but like that doesn't anger me. The way that I'm gonna put it in the B, because the way the action's done is so much fun. It's really dumb. It's my guilty pleasure. Liev Schreiber's really good as Sabretooth. He's way better than the actor in the first X-Men. I just feel like they could have shown... I'm going to put that in C. They could have shown the more in-depth about like Wolverine when he was in like World War I, World War II, the Civil War. Like he was in every single war known to man, really, and he was like born in the early 1800s, and he lasted into like the mid 2000s, which is like almost 300 years old or whatever the freak, So, and I really like his stories. I just feel like there's a couple of horrible CGI moments. There's a couple horribly done characters, but the way they set up the whole like Stryker thing is actually interesting, and the way they show him like become injected with metal is so cool. And Wolverine's probably my favorite superhero character, probably, from Marvel. I'm still debating in my head if I like him better than Batman, but I'm not sure. But yeah, there's that. Yeah, it's gonna have to go in the C thing. We're gonna go to the X-Men First Class. There we go. S tier. Dude, the way this shows the whole secret Cold War thing, really spy oriented, really cool showcase of like that spy feeling. There's a lot of secrets, there's a lot of espionage. You know what I mean? And there's the James McAvoy's awesome, Michael Fassbender awesome, Jennifer Lawrence awesome. But like this is like 2011 when Jennifer Lawrence was popping. She had the Hunger Games. She had Silver Linings Playbook. This is big for her. This is when she cared about X-Men, and I don't blame her for not caring later in the show. Later in the series, because like, not a lot of the other X-Men like later down the series were really good. You know what I mean? Like they weren't like excellently done. Like, oh my god, how extravagantly. Nobody really not a lot of people cared about not a lot of people care about X-Men Apocalypse or like Dark Phoenix, or you know what I mean. I think X-Men Apocalypse is underrated. It's just I'm able to point out some flaws, and I don't blame her for not really wanting to do it. But I feel like the whole Mother movie really was like some big for. I haven't seen that movie, but I heard a lot of really good things about the Mother film. So, but this is like the start of like the whole new generation of the X-Men thing, and whatnot. But I really liked the era it was set in, and you see like JFK speeches on the TV while the fighting's happening, and the Cuba scene is like the Cuba battle is probably one of my favorite like end climax, end action scenes in most movies, and it's really surprisingly well done for an X-Men movie without Wolverine, because a lot of X-Men movies that are bad are carried by Wolverine. And this one does it really well, surprisingly. And the Azazel character is actually an inspiration for a character that I'm writing in one of my short films. So the Azazel character is really interesting in that. And yeah, you kids nowadays, you gotta like realize, like back in 2011, we cared about the Avengers, but like what was really popping was the X-Men guys. Like everybody really wanted to see the new X-Men thing. But now nobody cares about the X-Men. They're gonna, I got a lot of nostalgia for the X-Men guys. More nostalgia, almost equal, but a little bit more than the Avengers nostalgia. But yeah. So, what's next? The Wolverine was next, actually. So, a lot of people, for some reason, think this is like not really well done, but I really like it. I feel like it did set up a lot of things that weren't really executed later down the show, or the series. I keep on saying show. Down the series, like his new suit and stuff like that. That was like a deleted scene, I think. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But the whole World War II thing was like touched upon, like how it kind of related back to how Wolverine saved someone in World War II, and then he ended up becoming like a really rich person, and the rich person wanted Wolverine's powers because he was dying or something like that. And the end scene going, I'm gonna have to bring First Class down a bit more. I'm gonna put Wolverine up. Sorry, but this is gonna have how it's go. But like the scene where like the people shoot the arrows at the end, and he's like going through the town, and like the whole like Japanese lore. Like I'm not really interested in a lot of kung fu movies, but like this just kind of has me feel like that whole like lore of like ninjas and cool shit. And how he's using swords as well. Like Wolverine's using swords or fighting people with swords, and it's like so much awesome. Like it's like he's going in it's like a worldwide movie. There's so much worldwide feeling. There's like a really grand scale of things, but it's still very small because it only has to deal with the relationships with a couple people, and it's very small. The world isn't at stake. It's just a couple characters, And Wolverine feels really guilty about a couple things that he did, I feel like it's way more personal. And I'm more personal. Yeah, with things, with movies. I like more personal stuff. I don't like grand stuff. I do like grand stuff every now and then. But if it's grand, you're going to have to go full grand scheme of things, grand scale of things. But if you're personal, you got to go like a really good mixture of personal and grand. And that's what Wolverine does very well. X-Men Days of Future Past. The tense sort of comparison between the future and the past, like how they interact with each other through Wolverine, which is sent back in the past for time travel. Very well done. Very kind of sad. Very sad. Like this movie's sad to see. And because there's a lot of things that they can change, a lot of things that they can't change. And it's like, I'm gonna have to put this in the S tier, because like it really captures that social commentary feel of X-Men the best, in probably one of the best ways possible. I'm just gonna have to edit this and move The Last Stand down a little bit, but still, that's higher than most people's list. But yeah, Days of Future Past captures that feeling, that sort of social commentary feeling of X-Men that a lot of other films do not. X-Men Apocalypse, I'm gonna have to put that. I kind of feel the way I feel towards that X-Men Origins Wolverine. A lot of flaws, but still very fun, and a lot of interesting lore is shown. But occasionally it gets really messed up, the lore. And I feel like Oscar Isaac is one of my favorite actors, and I feel like he did pretty good in this. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Deadpool, I'm putting the B column. I like Deadpool 2 more, and we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I'm gonna have to say that it's just like the narration's like corny, and like Ryan Reynolds is kind of like, he's funny, but he's not like that funny. You know, he's pretty funny. And I feel like the best part is the whole R-rated thing. That really kind of helped out the whole superhero genre and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Really helped out. And yeah, really helped out with that. The whole R-rated made it so people weren't scared to do like R ratings and stuff like that. So yeah. All right, Logan is next. I'm gonna have to probably one of the most sad X-Men movies, and very personal, cause like this whole life Wolverine's been like being chased down and hunted and forced to like kill people or almost be killed or be attacked. Well, he can't almost be killed, but it's like a really sad ending for him. And the way it's like done is like so emotional, and how he kind of sits down with like a family and has like a sort of common feeling where like he could be like a family guy, and he could stop being this like mean killer guy, but he really there's always someone chasing him that wants to kill him. So like, and he's trapped in his immortality. So I feel like his character is at peace at the end of the film, but it would have been nice to see Wolverine raise his daughter. So yeah, sad moment. Yeah, Deadpool 2, I like it more than the first one. Cable is a great character, and the time travel is hilarious. They set up the X-Force, and all of them die, and like that's not really seen in a superhero movie. Like, you set up all these characters and they die, and like Brad Pitt has a cameo and like dies in it, and it's the best thing that Deadpool is able to do. And I remember seeing this with my friends, and for a couple months being like, I like Deadpool 2 more than Infinity War. I don't know if I feel that way anymore, but at the time I really liked it a lot. I saw it with the homies, and yeah, I really messed with Deadpool 2 as compared to Deadpool 1. I feel like Deadpool 1 was just good for like the whole superhero genre, but on its own. I do respect the whole like non-linear Deadpool 1 storytelling, and Deadpool 2 does that similarly. Dark Phoenix, not really a fan of the newer X-Men guys. I don't really have a huge emotional attachment to it, and I'm putting it on the bottom because they really didn't need to make this movie. I really liked The Last Stand, and The Last Stand has a lot of really unnecessary hate. It really saddens me to see that. Also, two characters I really like are Elliot Page's character in the original trilogy of X-Men films, and Iceman was really good in it, and I'm pretty sure he showed up in Days of Future Past. And the end of Days of Future Past probably has the best ending for any X-Men film, I'd have to say. And yeah, shouts out to Days of Future Past, the screenwriter. That was excellent, absolutely excellent. Yeah, that's my X-Men tier list. What do you guys think of the X-Men films? What what sticks with you about the X-Men films? What makes the X-Men films so special? Do you have any crazy theater experiences? Comment down below anything you want to say about the X-Men film franchise. I feel like really dear and is in my heart. Really, really, really sticks with me. I really love it. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.